Quick disclaimer, this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor, and nothing here should be considered financial advice. Always do your own research and understand the risks before investing.
Welcome back everyone to another Bitcoin update. So we had a bit of a slower day today in the crypto market. Stocks sold off a bit with oil pumping up with the Iran and US-Israel war that's currently been ongoing. Bitcoin has seen a bit of a small pump, nothing too serious. We're still kind of ranging below or within this smaller degree trend line. We haven't broke above resistance or any swing highs yet, so as of right now it's just noise, and typically fake outs do tend to happen within these ranges for Bitcoin, like we kind of saw back here for November and January, where we're just kind of going sideways. We have a fake out and then we drop for Bitcoin. So that wouldn't be really surprising to see that happen as well. We go sideways for a little bit longer, then maybe we have a breakout, maybe even to that 80 to 90,000 range before we get rejected and head lower as well. Now, I do think that a projection of 80 to 90,000 is a bit unrealistic at this moment right now, just because of what we've seen for price action. We haven't broke above resistance or swing highs. It wouldn't surprise me if we see a break above maybe this past swing high at 74,000 and we grab liquidity around the 75,000 range and then we fall afterwards. But of course we can always go higher and possibly have a fake out pump before we head lower, assuming that we are still within this downtrend that we've been in since the October 126,000 all-time high that we got for Bitcoin. So there isn't really too much on the technical part right now, other than we have just been forming just this smaller degree trend line of lower highs and higher lows. So maybe at some point we can have a decision of a break down or up. And our nearest resistance would obviously be the trend lines and swing highs that we've had from the past, as well as our resistance zone between 70,885 to 72,287, with our nearest support are two trend lines that we have been bouncing off of for Bitcoin for the last couple of weeks, as well as our smaller support zone between 67,000 or 68,000 to 69,300. So that's pretty much it for the technical part. If we go to the smaller degree time frame, what we've been tracking is a corrective A, B, C bounce to the upside, where all of this could technically be an A, B, C to the upside as well. So that could technically qualify as all of that B wave bounce that we have been looking for. For the roadmap of what we want to see is, if we go based off of liquidity, then we'll show that later in the video. But as of right now, it would make sense to have a fake out pump to this range up here before heading lower to liquidate some of the longer shorts around that 65 to 66,000 range. So if we see something maybe here sideways, bounce up, fake out pump, and then head lower to liquidate these longs down here after we liquidated the shorts, that also wouldn't be too surprising of a move. Maybe something similar to this, where we were kind of ranging back and forth before we pump up, fake out pump, and head lower to liquidate the longs. So if we go over to the liquidation here on the 3-day, we have obviously the upper zone, like we've been talking about the last few videos. That 70 to 75,000 range is where most of the upper short liquidity is, while the lower is from 69,000 to about 67,000 as well in the shorter time frame. If we go over to the 2-week, I believe we do see a little bit more long liquidity towards the bottom around this 63.5 to 65,000 zone as well, just with this upper boundary at the 70,000 to about 75,000. Like I said, if we go a little bit higher to that 80,000 range, there is a bit of a smaller liquidity up there as well. But as of right now, if we were to see a pump like that, it is obviously not guaranteed. It could always be the start of a new rally for Bitcoin, but it would more than likely just be a fake out pump to grab liquidity before we head to this lower side as well. Now in the shorter time frame, we have seen a bit of a bounce for Bitcoin, so it wouldn't be surprising if we bounce to 71,000 in the shorter time frame before we head back down to 69,000, where we can possibly start working on a rally from there to some of this upper liquidity. Obviously, we could always just bounce straight up here and then head lower as well. If we go to the liquidation map on the 7-day, basically all of the short liquidity is within this, like we were saying, that 70 to 72,000, and then this smaller degree back here around the 74,000 as well. And as you can see, the longs are starting to pile up a lot, and just because momentum is up right now and the move that we have seen back here of just this consolidation could be a sign that we could break out to the top, break the resistance and swing highs before getting a rejection and heading lower. So it would align pretty well with that, just because if we were to, for example, go to 74,000, we liquidate all of these shorts, and then all of these longs start to pile in, and then Bitcoin would be able to kind of come back and liquidate most of these longs, assuming that is what were to play out. Now, I do think over the next couple of days, obviously not guaranteed, it wouldn't be surprising if we do see a pump upwards and then a rejection downwards as well. If we do start to see support holding and promising structure start to fold out, where we can get even higher than this 75,000 range, maybe to possibly the 80s and 90s, well, we will keep track of that, of course. But in terms of liquidity, it just on the shorter time frame, it just doesn't really seem like that will be the move that will play out. It kind of just seems like we'll kind of bounce up to the mid 70s, liquidate these shorts, and then kind of go back and liquidate some of these longs as well. And on the order book, there is also a lot of selling pressure within this 74 to 72,000 range as well. Obviously, whales can always put in sell orders, so price goes up there and then it can break through it and then they just take away the sell order. That's always possible, but it just kind of adds more weight to the fact that we could break out, liquidate the shorts, and then have sell orders push the price back down. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Not too much has happened today. If you haven't seen some of our other videos, we go more into some structure stuff for Bitcoin of scenarios that could possibly be playing out. But otherwise, in terms of the technical part, that's pretty much where we stand. I see it just a little bit more likely that we do go up in the shorter term higher, and then we see a rejection back down. But yeah, obviously not guaranteed. So yeah, that's pretty much everything. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.